Good morning, Jordan. Keith Herm, Daviess County Fire Department, Inspector Investigator. We're at H&R Agri-Power out on Highway 431, kind of in between Owensboro and Utica in beautiful Browns Valley. They were kind enough to let us come out today and talk about farm safety, some things for the general public as well as for the farmers. I'm standing right in front of a sprayer. It's spray time of the year. Spray and hay baling and pasture clipping, things like that are going on. Crops are already in the ground. Harvest is coming up, we know that. But right now we're doing a lot of spraying. So for the general public, when you meet a unit like this that's behind me on the road, what should you do? If you see that flagger coming up and you know something big's coming, don't run right up on them. If you can get over in a driveway or off on a good side of the road, and by all means, don't put yourself in the ditch, but pull over and give them plenty of room. These units are very top heavy. We know they don't run very fast. The farmers move at a fast pace, fast as they can. These units run 20, 30 mile an hour top, but very seldom do they go that fast. And they can't stop on a dime, and they're very top heavy. So they can get over, but they can't get over as much as we would think they could. This unit here, you can't put it over in a road ditch because it's going to tip over. So be kind to those farmers. Again, they're growing those crops that we eat, that feed our families and our livestock. So hop out of their way at every chance you get. And I know we get behind them and we're always in a hurry, and believe me, those farmers are in a hurry too, and they're moving as quickly as they can. But when you try to pass one of these units, make sure you've got plenty of room. They've got very limited sight distance. A lot of times you will try to pass them and they can't even see you doing that. So wait for that farmer or that flagger that's in front of them to tell you it's clear to pass, and then pass them. I followed one of these this weekend on Highway 231 and didn't have room to pass him, and I just enjoyed the scenery and ran about 20 mile an hour down the road while I was behind him. There's other equipment around here that's very wide, a lot of the tillage equipment, you see it moving up and down the road. And you're going to see them on any of the roads. Our county roads, our state highways, they're not always on the widest of roads. Again, they've got to get from field to field, so be mindful and give them that room they need, and take an extra few moments to just enjoy the scenery. You'll get there much safer. We're going to move up and talk about some other equipment too. On a special note for farmers, when you're using this equipment, there's all kinds of safety equipment involved, and if you need to wear some sort of breathing apparatus or respiratory protection as you're using this and applicating that material on your crops, by all means use that. We don't want to have to come out to the field and assist you when you've had a problem inhaling something you shouldn't, and you've probably got all that equipment handy and useful there for yourself to use. Be sure and use that every chance you get. We're going to move up now and talk about some hay cutting equipment, some grass cutting equipment, and some dangers there, and some things the general public needs to know, as well as the farmers. So we'll move right along. So now we're up by brush hog, bush hog, depending on what area of the country you're in and what brand. We're here by what is not really a fold-up machine. Behind me is a fold-up machine. Again, talking about the width, you see one of these coming down the road. Remember, that farmer can get over some, but he can only get over so much. So give him that room he needs. For the farmer and for folks that are using this equipment, I want to talk about the PTO shaft. This PTO shaft turns at so many revolutions a minute. It's something that we can get tangled in. Remember, don't get around it with it in gear, engaged, wearing loose clothing. Even a lady with long hair could be problematic and get into this, and you get tangled up. Another thing, when we're working on equipment, I know farmers a lot of times do work alone. If you're out in the field and you're having trouble with this unit or that unit behind me or your sprayer or whatever, and you're needing to look at things, you need to look at it in operation. Again, we always want you to be as safe as possible, but I realize sometimes you have to get out and look and see what's going on. Maybe this shaft is not turning like it should be, and you want to see why it's doing what it is. It may need some maintenance, things such as that. If you have to get out and look at something with it in motion, have someone else there with you. Because if you get tangled up in this PTO shaft, the last thing in the world you're going to be able to do is make that 911 call. So always have someone with you. If you can shut it off before you've got to look at it, again, if we're going to be under this unit, under that unit, we always want to have everything shut off, locked out some way or another where it doesn't start and cause us injury. For the farmer, when we're using this equipment, it gets dirty. We're out running through the pastures, running through wheat fields, things such as that, cornfields, cleaning and cutting and making the landscape look much nicer, but it piles up debris. Get that debris off of here. We don't have as many fires with bush hogs and hay balers and things such as that, but we still do have them. Get debris piled up around that gearbox. The gearbox can have a problem, a bearing go out and overheat, and we've got a small fire there. I've seen fires on bush hogs and hay balers as well, but not as many as we do on combines, but again, just general maintenance, keep it clean, make sure it's in good and working order. If something's wrong with it, don't use it that day. Now we're going to move over to a tractor and talk last but not least about the power unit. All right, now we're at the back of one of the big tractors here on the lot at H&R. This is a dual wheel, several horsepower tractor. Things I want to talk about here on the rear. PTO. When we hook something to the PTO, we always want to be mindful of the shields. I know those shields get in the way and they're problematic, but they're there for a reason to keep you safe and keep you from getting tangled up in that PTO drive shaft. A couple other things that are here on the back side of this tractor, they're hydraulic hookups. We always want to make sure, this is for the farmer, when we're unhooking those hydraulic hookups, have that hydraulic power to that line shut down. Nothing worse than unhooking a hydraulic line and having oil still under pressure and it's spraying in your eye, and there you are. Again, if you're out doing this stuff by yourself, be very mindful of that. Keep your phone handy. That way, if you do have to dial on 911, something happens to you here at the rear of the tractor, the phone's in the cab, it's going to be a problem getting to that phone. Again, don't hesitate to call us if something happens. No, other things, you want to keep your equipment as clean as possible. Again, we've got fire hazards all over these units. Sometimes problematic during the fall of the year and the spring of the year when we're out cutting that hay or bush hogging, and again when we're bringing in the crop out in the fields, they get very dry. Right now it's not that dry, but still we want to be mindful of anything that could cause us any kind of fire hazard. So again, around the PTO shaft, be careful. Shut it off at all costs. Anytime you can, make sure it's off before you look at anything. Again, if you have to have it running to look at that piece of equipment you got hooked to this tractor to see what your mechanical issue is, have someone there with you. Have someone to help you out. That way, if something does happen, they can get help to you that's needed. Hope this has been helpful. Anything we can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out, 270-685-8440. Again, we're on Facebook, social media, look us up there. Anything you need to do, give us a call. And again, happy 4th to everyone. Hope you have a safe day. Thank you.